Hello and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Tonight we are joined by Aurelia Yates.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of the room tonight. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. How about you?
Oh, I got a list of stuff, girl. Nothing nobody care about.
No, unfortunately, most of the time, every once in a while you get somebody that's sincere, really wants to know, but life's so busy, people passing each other. So,
Oh, I feel that. I'll be honest with you. I feel sorry for the ones who actually do care when they ask me. Because there are moments I have an infinitely long list.
oh yes, I can understand.
So let's start right off by talking bestsellers. As a reader, when you look at yourself as a reader, what makes a bestseller in your eyes?
To have a good plot, it's got to be interesting from page one to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is a bestseller. A book that you just want to keep turning the page to.
Oh yeah. Now, do you like audibles?
I do. I actually just downloaded four. I had 4 credits, and I just downloaded. I was like, I'm going to start listening to because I've been reading, and but every once in a while, like when I start going on book signings, I'll do the audible so I can listen to it in my car.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I like to listen to them when I'm getting my footsteps in, my count for the day. And I just keep on walking. And as the story goes, the next thing I know, 10,000 steps have come and gone.
Oh yes, that's a good idea.
So, oh yeah, because then you don't even realize you've gotten your step counted. So, a whole lot nicer. So now, when we talk about expectations as bestsellers, what do you rate? Since I've read that you are a bestseller, correct?
I'm sorry, it kind of broke up. Can you repeat that one more time?
I said I read that you're a bestseller.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So, as a bestseller and an author, what are your expectations? What pushes you to keep that goal going?
I really want to be like on top. If I'm gonna do it, I want it to be done all the way. I really want to strive. I'm constantly harassing my PA. What more can I do to get further out there? Um, what would make my book better? I ask for feedback. I literally love people's feedback, whether it's a 1 star or a 5 star, because I think that you have to take it as construction criticism. I can't say it. See there, we're talking about tongue tie. Um,
Yeah, constructive criticism. I gotcha. Constructive, yeah.
and I just turn it around and try to use it to better myself, or I at least want to try to turn it around to better myself.
Right. You're better than me. I'm not a real good I'm not really good with constructive criticism. My husband would stand up and applaud on that. Or maybe it's just his constructive criticism. I don't know.
No, we didn't say that applied to husbands and families, okay?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
They get left out on that deal.
Right. I agree 100%. See, I knew I loved you. So now, when we look at dark romances, what does it take to make them happen for you?
You know, when you're reading the book, you've got to feel that black cloud hanging over you. Like you really want to be in touch with these characters and you know, you want to feel what they're feeling. So, dark romance to me is your characters are broken. They struggle in, you know, they're struggling in the book just like we struggle in real life. And to me, the more you, and you know, some books you just relate to more because nobody's life is just perfect. And if they tell you that, they might be fibbing a little bit. But
Right?
there's there's a book out there that relates to you, just like there is a song out there that relates to someone. You know,
Yeah.
so I just think broken characters are just I just I just think it's just great. I mean, I'm sorry, I might be a little twisted, but
Twisted's good by me. so so you try to keep that dark rain cloud above you. So how does that motivate you by doing that? Do you play music when you're writing? How do you keep that dark cloud for the twist?
um, I have to have it silent. I
Silence.
normally
Okay.
yes, I'm the kind of person that doesn't focus too much with a lot of chaos going around me, and I close my. I know this sounds crazy, but um, because I'm 49, so I feel like I've lived a little bit. So I dig deep inside myself and I close my eyes and I just write.
Mm, yeah, I get that. I get that. I'm a little older than you, just by a couple years, but so and you sound youthfully young, by the way. Just put that out there.
Well, I've heard that all my life, and it you know when I was younger it was worse. I used to
Oh.
have I've had people argue with me over how old I am.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that whole argument. They're like, "Yeah, we believe it." There's a few names I say when they say it, but but I ain't never been known to be polite.
I don't believe that.
Oh, trust me, girl. I have my days. I have my days. Let's just say when you're on the roll of me to vent, like, you're my call to for the day. Oh my goodness, you got to put a timer on for me because I can go and go and go. So
I
when we go ahead.
no no. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. You were getting ready to say something. I think we have a little overlap in our conversation on the timing between you and me, so that's okay if that happens. Go ahead.
I really don't remember. I don't know what I was gonna say.
That's all right. Okay, so if I go to twist us back here to the interview, so let's talk about the Red Club series. I believe the third in the series is called Amber Eyes.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me about how the series started.
So the series or the book? The book.
Well, the series first, and then tell me how the book came about.
So you know, I binged so much on reading, and I was like, you know, I really love a series. I love connecting with all the different characters. You know, you follow them, and so I wanted to do a series. And believe it or not, I used to always want to write children's book, but these are by far no means a children's book.
Mhm.
But so I just started with each. There's at least one character in each book that's broken, but in Amber Eyes, they're both characters are broken. So Liz, she just wants to be loved. You know, she grew up with a mother that didn't love her. She doesn't know who her father is. She's uh, attractive. She's, trying to make it on her own. She left her mother's house. He left Ireland because every male that's in this series is Irish. And so, and I chose Irish because I'm Irish and English. So I was like, and plus I really want to go to Ireland one day. I like really want to see all the castles and so anyways, he's a little broken because he's different from his family. He's not as, nice, you could say. He's a little bit more on the rougher side, hanged out with the rougher crowd, but he actually, things turn about and he actually ends with being the person that maybe he should have been all along. You know,
Mhm.
it's just taking that road to get there to where he needs to be.
Okay. So for you, when you start writing and you say broken, what makes a broken character for you?
Baggage. Well, maybe not necessarily so much baggage, but um, you don't feel like you're good enough. You don't
Mm,
feel that you're in the right crowd of people. It's like somebody that sits on the outside and they really want to be a part of that inside crowd, but they won't allow you to be in there. So you have all these self doubts about yourself, or maybe it's just like where you grew up, who your family is, it's trying to get out of those. Um, it's like a recycle, when you have parents that are not good, but you have to be strong enough to get out of that cycle of being pulled down.
mm. So when you start creating a character and you want your characters to be broken, what kind of buildup are you working with when you start that? I mean, like your whole outline for that. Do you build that as you go, or is that just always in the back of your head and the character's background builds as you write? Which way is it?
So I've kind of like do a outline. Well, first I have to decide what kind of broken background do they need to have. Um, what kind of personality are they going to have? Are they going to be strong enough to get through it? Do I want them to be strong or do I want them to be weak? Then you decide, okay, what, what's their family like? And it's just trying to dissect who they are and what they want to be. Um, but I don't know, did I answer that? I'm so sorry. I think I got.
No. Yeah, you did. You were starting with the outline, and I was talking about how that comes about because you are having a broken character. And what I was wondering was if you started with an outline or the character's broken past comes out as you're writing.
Their broken past comes out. Now, with Amber Eyes, the prologue is the broken, you'll see her broken past. And it tells like the struggle that she's been through to come to work at the Red Club or Club Red,
Mm,
where she basically comes in and she meets the lady that's over the girls at the club. And it's kind of like a gentleman's type of club where they have back rooms. And so she doesn't want to sell herself, but she's desperate to get out of her um, house that she's staying in, but
mhm,
that's where she ends up being with the main male character, and he kind of keeps her for himself, but because he's associated with the mafia, he's afraid for her because he's grown to care for her.
mhm. Okay. All right. And does your series follow the two characters, or does it group out to other characters around into the series?
They group out to other characters in the series. So
Okay.
I should have two more books. In the series, and then it should be finished up.
Nice. And that gives you what, 4 or 5 books total?
They'll give me 5 books.
5 books. Nice. So now let's talk about Amber Eyes. Tell me about how that's come off of the series.
How's it come off? I'm sorry.
How it branches off from the beginning of the series when you first started. Who are the characters in relation to the first book that you wrote?
Okay, so the characters in the first book are they're Sarah and Wilder is he's mainly in charge of all the office of the club. Each character has a part in the club and a duty that they do. So Mark is actually he's part of Amber Eyes. He is, I think, he's the bodyguard. Or he's the person that does the dirty laundry, like breaks bones and, if you don't pay up or, if somebody needs to be taken care of, he's that person that goes out and does that.
Oh, okay. Nice. I'm already getting entwined into the book. So, when for you, what was the appeal to write along this series for romance?
Um, I like the I like the suspense of it. That you're kind of wondering what's going to happen next, and I need to get there to that plot. Um, but I enjoyed. I love the first 2 books, but really I haven't been writing very long. And Amber Eyes, usually like with your third book, they say it takes 2 books to really come into your own. So with Amber
Mhm.
Eyes, I really felt like I came into my own. I feel like, okay, yes, I've grown. I can tell a difference.
Mm. Now, you say you haven't been writing very long. Can you tell me how long you've been writing and how many books do you have your name currently?
So I've been writing since 2022. So this September will be 2 years. And I have 3 books. I'm fixing to come out with my 4th book, and I have 2 novellas. But then I have been in 3 anthologies.
Mm. Yeah, I do think I saw the anthologies on your Amazon page.
The charity for the oh, it just has slipped my mind. Um, Love lattes.
Hmm.
Yes, that one will be coming out in December. And I'm really excited for
Nice.
that story because that's a dark romance Christmas story that eventually I'll turn into a full book.
I was just going to ask you, have you found yourself writing for an anthology and it making you want to write the book further or the series
Well,
further?
there's only been like one anthology that I was knew I was going to write the book for it. But my PA Sarah Cunningham, she's like, you need to write this book. And so she's like, you got all the parts there. You just this. I'm telling you, you need to do this. So she talked me into it. She's. I hope she's on here listening because she's the bomb diggity. But
Well, she'll definitely hear it. She'll definitely hear it. This goes out to quite a bit of social media and a lot of podcast channels, so I'm sure she'll hear it.
well, thank you. I'm thankful to be on here today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. I love having talent on here. I really do. Um, so when you talk to me deeper as a reader, and as I was scrolling your feed, I should say that. As I was scrolling your feed earlier today, I was like, on Instagram, I noticed that you were into Frozen Flames and then Wild Blades. So tell me, as a reader, what sparked your attention about continuing the series from this particular writer?
Okay. This series, I cannot go on how good of a writer I think she is. Um, so I was strolling through, I saw somebody had posted a review on Frozen Flames. And I was like, oh, that sounds so good. So I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, when is the next one coming out? I can't wait. And follow her on Facebook, BH Nicholson, and she posted about wanting, art readers. And I don't do that. I don't sign up for anybody's arcs because I do not ever want to be accused of stealing someone's work. But her work is so good. I mean, I really, truly love that series. And, I signed up for it and I made sure that I did it right. I think I've got one social platform that I need to go out there and do a review just to think about it. But um, so her characters are broken. The first one was the first book I've ever read. A Second Chance. It was about a married couple, and sometimes in life your relationship it kind of hits a little on the downside, and you got to bring it back up, so things stay alive. And that's how that book went. And I was really taken back by, I could feel it when she wrote it, and so that's what really made me want to continue with the second book.
Nice, nice. It's interesting. We might be authors, but it's so interesting when you find a book that totally grabs you. I have found some Audible books, and I'm the worst. Okay, as a reader, I love series that are complete. Like there's like infinite amount of books, and I'm like, yes, score! I have hours of reads. But
Yeah.
as a writer, I'm lazy. I have not finished my series on any one of my books. I'm like a dog who sees a squirrel, so I'm all over the place.
Well, I don't. I stay home. I take care of my mother. She's bedbound with dementia. And
Mm,
even being at home, I still do not make the time out that I should every day. Because, for one thing, when I sit down at this computer and I really concentrate, if something doesn't come up to me, I can't force it. I'm not going to force it.
mm,
Um,
yes,
so I just have to get up and just move on. And then, like the next day, if it comes to me when I sit down, great. Even if it's just a couple sentences. But if I lose it, I'm getting up. I'm not forcing it.
right. I feel you on that. As my mother lives with us as well on the property, she has her own apartment, so I understand that. I'm pretty much here as well. I work either from, well, currently I'm in my front porch office, but I also work from my she shed. So, and that's usually where I'm at. My she shed's pretty much like an office, a living room, and it has a sound booth in it. So I'm either in either place. Um, so I get that, but I feel the same way when you're saying about sitting down and if it doesn't come to you. For me, I actually had to push myself to finish a book I started writing in 2015. I'm currently editing another book that I started a couple years after that. But for me, it's very hard lately. I find that my own personal life puts a damper on my fire to write. Do you ever find that what's going on around you affects your writing in such a way, either what's happening becomes part of the story or it disables you from being able to write at the time?
I think sometimes it disables me because anybody know, well, not anybody, but a lot of people know caregiver is like one of the hardest jobs you could ever do. I mean, in all
Mm,
honesty, it's a 24-hour job, and
mhm.
if you're gonna do it and do it right, then you're gonna be tired, and sometimes when you're tired, you can't. Your brain don't function right, so that's why I try to write in the morning times, because my mother's still asleep, my husband's, and then that way I can at least have a little bit of peace time to sit here to see if my attention gets grabbed.
Right. I agree with that. I can see where you're saying with that. Um, I'm not in the same situation as far as my mother, but we just came out of my father. He recently passed away last year, so I understand that. I think it's very hard. Of course, again, it also can be therapeutic, the writing. It can take you away from your own life and let you dive deeper. Even reading. Reading can be a great distraction.
Yes, I honestly live through the books, and I live when I do write. I do live through it, um,
Mm.
because like I told somebody's husband last year, I said you can be anybody you want to be. You can do anything. Like when I go to Six Flags, I literally have to take Dramamine to get on. But when you're younger, you don't take that, because
Mm,
you just get on there and go. But I was watching a TikTok video where they were jumping out of an airplane. It was like the Air National Guard,
mm.
and I thought my heart was going to give away standing there on the edge of the plane, and I'm in the video. I mean, I'm just watching it through a video, but so I was like, Lord of mercy.
My husband and I had a similar conversation about this. Oh, not too long ago. Not exactly jumping out of a plane, but we went to my mother's house. Like I said, she lives in an apartment here on the property, but we went over to the house because we were still cleaning it out before we sell. And we were getting some doors, and they're French doors, and they're very heavy. And we had the hardest time. Well, I had the hardest time. I don't know about him, but for me, when we were putting him in the back of the truck and everything, and I was like, you got to be more gentle with me. He's like, well, you could jump up in the truck. And I'm like, look, there is no jumping in the back of the truck. I brake now. I've realized falling hurts and I brake now.
I know. It's funny because we keep a ladder in the back of ours. So, we can climb up in the bed because it's a four it's a four-wheel drive, and it's not
Mhm,
far off the ground. But
mm,
still, I'm scared of breaking.
mhm,
I've never had a broken bone, and I know that,
mm.
I don't want to start now.
No, I have to say I didn't ever either until I hit my wait a minute. I don't think it was quite 50s that I broke the first one. I broke my ankle and I've broken my elbow. Yeah. And then I have twisted something. And sometimes I think the twists are worse than the break. So I'm like, and I do a mild amount of working out and I walk. So it's not like, you know what I mean, that I sit around in a chair all day and I don't do anything. So I do move, but it's like a safe move, It's not,
It's not a
it's not
fast turn.
yeah, yeah. It's not a jumping up in this truck and then jumping down so I twist my ankle, and they fly out of my Crocs. I think that's the bad part as a writer. We're like doing all these scenarios and thinking, wait a minute, if I jump up in there, I'm gonna fall down, my flip flop's gonna go all up in the air, and I'm gonna land on my butt. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but it don't work like that. It's like nobody gets killed really in the books, but everybody gets shot at. It don't.
Yes, yes.
It's not like that in real life.
Mm. So now, when we talk about your books, once again, I want to say that your cover work is, and please, this is the highest compliment, so don't take me the wrong way when I say this, simple but eloquent. So tell me about the cover work.
So we had a guy set up to do the first cover with Emerald Eyes. He got
Mhm,
COVID and he couldn't do it.
mhm.
But for some reason, I had this feeling that he wasn't going to be able to come like the day before. So it came to me what I needed to do. I needed to
Mm.
get some little gemstones. Well, they're actually stones that you put in your aquarium. And
Oh,
my friend is a professional photographer, and so I told her, he couldn't come, and I was like, but I got this other idea. So I do like simple but elegant.
okay.
I'm not a big skull person. They're pretty when they're done right, but
Mhm.
I just wanted something different and just kind of simple. And I like
Well,
what I like.
I can get that, but they have an eloquence to them. It's not if you would have told me that you had taken a picture of the first and you had done the jewel work yourself, I wouldn't have believed you because they're simplistic, but there's an eloquence to them. So they seem to give as if you put more time into them. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, and that works. Sometimes less is more. Like when I do makeup for myself, I find that if I do less, I don't look as old.
You
So
know,
sometimes,
that is so
go ahead.
true because
Mm-hmm.
me and a friend of mine were just talking about that because I stopped wearing eyeshadow because it makes me look so old.
Yes. Yeah, I find like the worst is like the foundations. I find if it's just a light powder or a light what do you call it, airbrush spray, and I just tap it on, it's not as bad. But if I apply, you know what I mean, the big thick stuff that you see these artists on the YouTube and everything do, I look older than heck. Now, if I put a bright light on and a filter on, maybe. But the closer I get in and I get into the mirror, I'm like, holy crap, I look like 10 years older with all this stuff.
I I know what you mean. I figured that out. Um,
So so the cover work are very eloquent. I think, like I said, they're simple, but they are very eloquent. And I only say simple because you know how a lot of times cover works, some can tell a deeper story. And they might have a guy and a girl on them, but then they'll have little side stuff that tells either if they're in a castle or a car or oceanside. And so there'll be a side storyline as well on the cover. Yours is very simple, but eloquent, as if you can't wait to open the page and find out what is inside.
when I told my husband and my daughter, I said, he's not going to be able to do the photo shoot. And she's like, you ought to just go with something that's, where you can't really see what he looks like. You just make it up in your
Mm,
head. And
mhm.
so, I mean, I was happy with them. I'm happy with them. I thought they turned out pretty decent. So thank you so much for the compliment.
Well, you're welcome. I love them. I think they're great. Like I said, they seem to tell a lot just from the mystique of them. Because it's not like, you know what I'm saying? The mystique is if you're not giving all the tests. But I'll be honest with you, I actually love the covers too. When they put a guy and a girl, but they only show, you know what I mean? They don't really show the face. They might show just the outline of the face or a neckline or a back or not where, so that way it gives the reader a full chance to put the character in what they see them at. So I find that I love that kind of appeal. That's why I wanted to bring up your covers. They're very good. Very, very
Thank you.
good. You're welcome. So as we come to the end of our podcast, what's next? What's coming? What can we expect from you now as an author?
So, I had a novella last year that was, I put it out around July the 4th, and it's called Sparks Fly. And Sarah has originally done the new covers for me. And Sparks Fly is just like the beginning of the story for Sparks Ignite, and it releases next month. And it's the actual full story that you'll get more into Colt's background, which is the main male character, and not so much as Maggie, but Colt has a little bit more of a heartbreaking story.
Mhm.
So it'll be, and then they have some uh, obstacles to conquer or to over challenge or you know to to conquer whatever. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't even think about it. And then but it but yes, it'll release July the 28th, I do believe.
Nice. Well, great. Something to look forward to. So we've reached that time in the show, guys, and when we do the Amazon deal of the day. Today, and just like Aurelia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right again. Aurelia, am I pronouncing it right?
It's fine. Really, truly, I pronounce it as Aurelia. I've heard other people pronounce it different though, whose name is spelled the same thing.
Okay. I'm horrible with pronunciation, so my apologies if I do it wrong. I
No,
actually
you're
looked it up on Google as well, how to pronounce. I'm horrible with pronunciation. But
no.
as we were speaking and we were talking about TikToks, I have seen a lot from this. Have you seen the Ring video doorbells where people have posted the content that come to their doorbell? Very interesting. I always thought that these were a very expensive item. Well, today I found these guys. So if you're interested in the Ring Video Doorbell, a 1080p HD video, improved motion detection, easy installation, it is now $49.99. That's 50% off savings. And they're from their list price of $99.99. And if you're like me and you like to be completely frugal, you can do a 12-month payment. Get this, guys. Guess what the payment is? $4.17. Sign me up. I love deals. I really do. Maybe too much. Anyways, I will have the link in the bio for anyone who's interested. I thank you guys so much for always wanting to have the Amazon the deals. I really like trying to find something either that I have or that I want. And these I wouldn't mind having. I want to thank so much for our author tonight for coming with us. You are a delight. I love the accent. I love your book covers. And as I peek into your books, I think I'm going to be a new follower of yours as
Well, thank you. And I need to get your information as well because I'm constantly trying to discover new authors. That's something that I didn't used to do is venture
well.
off, from the original or from the authors that really got me started in reading. But I'm definitely going to look you up.
Okay, well, full disclosure, you either love me or totally hate me, and it's okay either way. But I do love to write, and if I get a hit where someone enjoys it, that's just the better. But if I inspire you to hate me, that's another good thing. Because, it takes a lot to do either.
That's right. If somebody goes off and says I don't like her because blah blah, well hey, at least they're getting your name out there, right?
Right? I know, I love to please. Either way. I want to thank you so much for being on. I'd love to have you back again. You are a delight. I want to thank our listeners once again. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, have a great evening. Until next time. Bye bye.
Right, thank you. Bye bye.